Thank you for joining me today. We have a really soothing, stress relieving class on tap. It won't take a lot of time, but will do a lot of good for your body, your mind, and your spirit. So let's begin by taking a comfortable seat. I'm sitting on a bolster, but you could be sitting on a pillow or a blanket or a cushion or even a block, whatever you have available. I do recommend sitting on top of something because we will be in this position for a little while. And if your knees are higher than your hips, it could be quite uncomfortable. So, depending on your body, do whatever feels good. So, having this comfortable seat, sitting tall, bringing your hands to your thighs, either palms up or down, whichever feels more comfortable. Just lifting tall through the crown of the head, allowing the eyes to close or the gaze to soften, and just bringing your awareness to your breath. Not trying to control it yet, just observing its movement through the body. Taking note of how the breath is affecting the different parts of your body and how the different parts of your body are reacting to your in breaths and your out breaths. So, for example, your belly as it rises and falls with the breath. Maybe your ribs are expanding and contracting. Your shoulders are lifting and sinking. Maybe even feeling it low in your pelvis. And now let's start to lengthen those breaths. And again, we'll just take this nice and gentle, just consciously lengthening the breaths in and out, breathing through the nose. Just try to slow those breaths down. Try to make them a little bit longer each time. And then on your next inhale, just take in as much air as you possibly can through the nose, filling up the lungs, filling up the belly. And then when you're completely full, hold for 2 counts. And then on your exhale, just let everything go. And then when you've let all of that air go, just return to your natural breathing pattern. So we'll just continue with some very gentle movement. So we'll start with just tilting your left ear to your left shoulder. And then on your next inhale, come back up to center. And on your exhale, right ear to right shoulder. Inhaling back to center. And then exhaling, left ear, left shoulder. Inhaling. And then exhaling, right ear, right shoulder. Do that a couple more times at your own pace. Just gentle. You don't need to be, really trying to hit your ear all the way down to your shoulder. Then that usually requires bringing your shoulder up to your ear, and we're not trying to do that right now. Just nice and steady paces, moving with the breath. And on your next inhale, just come back up to center. And then on your next exhale, I'm going to turn your chin over towards your right shoulder. Inhaling back to center. Exhale, chin to the left shoulder. Inhale back to center. Exhale, chin So you're looking over your right shoulder, inhaling back to center, exhaling left shoulder, and inhale, come back to center. This time on your inhale, lifting tall, and as you exhale, drop your chin to your chest. Inhale back up to center, and then exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, center. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale up. One more time. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, back to center. Very nice. So let's bring your fingertips to your shoulders. So if they don't reach, don't worry about it. Just bring your hands right here. Depends on how thick your arms are. So mine kind of barely reach. I'm going to leave them there. But if it's uncomfortable, make sure you bring your just hands up, the fingers pointing towards the ceiling. So take an inhale and lift the shoulders, the elbows up. And as you exhale, round them down the back. Inhale, elbows up. Exhale, rounding down the back. Inhale up. And exhale, rounding down the back. Inhale up. Exhale, rounding down. Let's go the opposite way. So inhale, up from the back. Exhale, down in the front. Inhale, up the back. Exhale, down the front. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. And release the hands, shake them out. That feels good. And maybe switch your legs. So from here, sitting nice and tall, I have blocks on both sides of me, and I recommend that you get something like a block as well. You can use a book or anything that gives you a little bit of height that's sturdy. So from here, hands come to thighs. And let's inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to the heart. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach overhead. Exhale, hands to the heart. One more time. Inhale and reach. Exhale, hands to the heart. Great. So we're going to bring our left hand over to the block on your left side. Inhale, right arm overhead. And then as you exhale, just lean over that left side and rest your forearm on the block. You can send your gaze up past your bicep or straight out in front of you or down at the mat, whatever feels more comfortable for your neck. And then if you feel like it, you can send that arm over the ear, rotate your right pinky towards the floor. And again, if it feels comfortable, you can send your gaze up past your bicep. Just breathing through it. Nice long stretch, reaching through those fingertips. Nice, soothing breaths. And then on your next inhale, let's rise up. And exhale, bring the right hand down to the block on your right side. Inhale, left arm up. Lean over that right side. And then turn your gaze up towards your bicep if that's comfortable. And again, reaching through, allowing your gaze to rest wherever feels comfortable for you. And again, if you want to take the stretch a little bit deeper, you can bring your arm over your ear, sending your gaze up past your bicep, reaching through those fingertips and rotating that left pinky towards the floor. Elongating from the crease of the left hip all the way to the left fingertips. Just breathing here. It should feel good, so if you feel uncomfortable at all, just back off the pose. And then on your next inhale, let's rise back up. And coming back to center. Very nice. So from here, we're going to inhale, reach our arms overhead. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale and reach. This time as you exhale, just fold forward, hinging at the hips, bringing your hands down to the mat or the floor in front of you, whatever feels comfortable. Only going as far as feels comfortable. And then on your next inhale, walk the hands in, sitting nice and tall. Let's switch the legs one more time. Sitting nice and tall. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach for the sky. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hands to the heart. This time, inhale, and then exhale, fold forward. Releasing your hands to the mat or the floor. You can also put a block under your hands if that feels more comfortable. And you don't have to go far. It's like whatever you feel is good. So if you're feeling it in your hips, feeling a little stretch, that's awesome. You don't have to go very far at all. Just breathing, allowing your body to just sink into the pose with every breath, softening your gaze. If you're feeling restricted at all in your breath, then just back off the pose. Breathing should be easy. And then inhale, walk your hands in, come to sitting tall. Very nice. So we'll do some chest circles. So you're just using your chest to make a big circle, and we'll go from one side to the other. So as we begin, let's inhale and send our chest forward. And then as we exhale, just rotate from one side over to the other. Inhaling back as we come forward. Exhaling as we move back. Inhaling forward. Exhaling back. And as you start to do these, you might want to take them wider, bigger circles, if that's feeling good. Sometimes wider feels better than small. You just really enjoy the movement here, flowing with the breath. And then let's switch and go to the other side. Just keeping those circles nice and smooth, making them as big or little as feels comfortable. And then complete your last circle. And then come back to center. Very nice. For this next pose, you might want to remove whatever you're sitting on. It's more comfortable for me to be flat on the mat. But if you're going to sit on a block or a bolster or a blanket, you're going to want to have something under the backs of your knees to protect your knees. So I'm removing my bolster. We're going to do a wide-legged forward fold. So open your legs as wide as feels comfortable. They don't have to be as wide as mine. They can be wider than mine, whatever feels good for you and your body right now. So just lift a little bit of the flesh away from your sit bones. The key to this pose is to protect the back of the knees. So that's why I said if you're sitting up on something, it's really easy to just accidentally let the knees kind of press down. So if you're sitting up on something, then I recommend putting a blanket or something under the knees just to give you a little cushioning there. So since I'm sitting flat on the mat, I'm not going to need that because instead I'm pressing my heels very firmly into the mat. which that activates my legs and lifts the backs of my knees up off the mat. So sitting tall from here, inhale, lift the chest and bring those arms up. As you exhale, you're going to fold forward, bring those hands down to your mat. Just go wherever feels comfortable. You don't need to be bringing your chest down to the floor. If you can, that's awesome. You're welcome to do that, but it's not necessarily what we're aiming for here. We're just aiming for a stretch. So, again, you're keeping those legs activated. If you're flat on the floor like I am, you're pressing your heels into the mat and you're pressing through this mound of the big toe on each foot, and the toes are sort of curling back towards you. This is a very active foot and leg, so it's not quite a restful pose, even though it can look restful in the moment. And then just allowing the body to let gravity do the work for you. Just sinking in with every breath, just allowing the body to let go a little bit more, sinking a little deeper into the pose. And just breathing here. Maybe closing the eyes. You can also, if you like, place a block in front of you and put your forearms on the block. Do whatever feels comfortable. So you're getting a nice stretch of the back of the legs, the inside of the thighs, but you're not feeling discomfort. Anytime you're feeling pain or discomfort, you should back up of the pose. And just breathing, just softening. And on your next inhale, lift the chest and walk the hands in. And bring the hands behind the knees. Lift the knees up, bring the legs in. Bring the feet together in the butterfly position. The soles of the feet are touching. Take a big inhale. Lift the chest, and as you exhale, just fold forward. You can grab onto the soles of your feet if you like. You can even open your feet so that it looks like you're reading a book. It's up to you. If you want, you can also bring your hands down towards your ankles, and then as you exhale, press your elbows into your knees to open a little bit further. So just do whatever feels nice, whatever feels good in your body right now. Just stretching the outer hips, just breathing. And again, just allowing gravity to do the work for you. So one thing we want to be careful of when we do these forward folds, a lot of times you see people with it's just shoulders coming forward, and then you're really rounding the back. And we don't want to do that. We want to keep our shoulders lifted, our hearts lifted, and we're just like doing this instead of this, if that makes sense. And just enjoy this stretch. And then on your next inhale, lift the chest, walk the hands in. We're going to come to hands and knees. Okay, yogis, so here we are, hands and knees. You want to have your knees directly beneath your hips, your wrists beneath your shoulders. And we're starting with a neutral spine. We're going to move into our cat-cow stretches. So on your inhale, you're going to lift your chin, lift your tail, fill your belly with air. And then on your exhale, you're going to pull your belly button into your spine as you tuck your chin and tuck your tail. Inhale, coming back to cow pose. Filling the belly with air, lifting the tail and the head. And then on your exhale, drawing the belly button up towards your spine, tucking the chin and the tail. Inhaling, coming back to cow pose. Exhaling, back to cat pose. Just do a few more of these, moving at your own pace. Moving with the breath. And on your next inhale, come back to a neutral spine. We're going to go into a thread the needle pose. So I'm going to offer you a couple of variations of this pose. So the first one is traditional. So from here, sitting hands and knees, send your right arm out to the side. And then as you exhale, bring that hand underneath your left arm. Lower your right shoulder all the way down to the mat. You can bring your left arm out in front of you. Now stay there, or if that feels uncomfortable, I like putting a bolster underneath my chest in this pose. So I'm going to do the same thing. Hands and knees. Inhale the right arm out. As you exhale, thread that arm underneath you and then bring the shoulder down to rest on the mat. So this gives a little more support for your chest and your belly. You might feel more comfortable. So choose the variation that feels best to you. And just breathe. On your next inhale, press your left hand into the mat and lift your chest and bring your right hand back underneath your right shoulder, hands and knees. We'll go to the other side. Inhale the left arm out. Slide that arm underneath the opposite arm and then bring your shoulder down to the mat and just rest your head. Finding comfort in the pose. On your next inhale, press into the mat, lift the chest, bring both hands back under the shoulders, coming back to tabletop. Now, if you're using the bolster, you may want to move that out of your way. We're going to come into a Sphinx pose. So you're going to lie on your belly, on your mat. You're going to bring your forearms to the mat. Your elbows are going to be directly beneath your shoulders. So you make a 90-degree angle with your forearm and your upper arm bending at the elbow. So from here, the idea is that you draw your chest through your biceps. So you're pressing your heart forward as your shoulder blades come together behind you. And just breathe. Now again, if this feels really uncomfortable, you need some more support for your chest. Instead of a bolster, I would recommend just a blanket. The bolster can be a little too bulky, and you can roll up the blanket, making a little bit of a cushion just for your lower ribs. Bringing those elbows down. And again, pressing the heart forward, drawing the shoulder blades together. and just breathing. Nice long breaths. And then on your next inhale, walk the hands in and come up to sitting on your knees. So we're going to transition to a child's pose. This child's pose, however, is more supported. So we're going to use a bolster or a blanket or a cushion to rest our torsos on. I'm going to use a bolster and a blanket. Get that really lifted. So you're going to come forward and open the knees nice and wide, bringing the cushion or bolster, whatever you're using, close in towards your belly. Inhale, lift the chest. And as you exhale, just walk the hands down and lower the chest to the bolster. Just come to rest here, resting on whichever cheek feels most comfortable. And you can switch back and forth as you need. And just rest. Taking nice long breaths. Just allowing the body to soften. And on your next inhale, press your hands into the mat. Lift your chest. Walk your hands in towards your belly. I'm just sitting on the heels. We're going to transition to lying on our back. Okay, yogis, lying on your back, knees bent, soles of the feet flat on the floor. Just take a moment here. Let's take the feet nice and wide and bring the knees together. We'll just do a windshield wiper from one side to the other. Kind of slow. Just loosening up the hips a little bit. And then let's come back to center. Walk the feet in so they're directly in line with your sit bones. And then from here, you're going to bring your right knee in towards your chest. And then you're going to grab onto the outer edge of your foot. Now for me, I have to grab my big toe and then grab around my foot. But you can also use a strap if you just feel it's impossible to get your hand towards your foot, which sometimes it is. Just use a strap, wrap it around the ball of your foot, and hold the strap in your hand. So we're just doing a half happy baby here. So you're drawing your knee down towards the floor, holding on to either your strap or the foot, and allowing the left side of the body to relax. And just drawing that right knee down. Just sinking into it, letting the hips just gently open. So if this feels really tight and just totally unavailable, just keep using your strap. You can also grab onto the back of your thigh with your hand if that feels more comfortable. But eventually, you will be able to reach your foot. It just takes a little time and practice. And let's take one more nice big inhale here. And then as you exhale, just release that foot. Bring it back down to the mat. Just take a moment here, resting the right side, resting your right hand. And then on your exhale, bring your left knee in towards your chest. And again, reach for that foot. Like for me, I have to grab my toe first and then draw my foot in towards me. Again, you can use your strap or you can grab onto the backs of your thighs. And just allow your body to sink into this pose. Now, of course, there's going to be a little bit of dynamic energy happening here between the left shoulder and the left foot, and that's normal in this pose. So it's not a completely restful pose. Your right side might be at rest, but your left side is definitely active and working. Drawing that left knee down towards your mat. Just breathing. And take one more big inhale here. And then as you exhale, release the foot and lower the foot down to the mat. Release the hand. Allow those to rest. Let's take the feet nice and wide again. Knees come together. A couple of windshield wipers each side. And if it feels good right now, you can hug your knees into your chest. Maybe roll, rock back and forth, from side to side. Whatever feels good right now. And then when you're ready, just release those feet back down to the floor. We're going to come into a fish pose. So we're actually going to use a block underneath our mid back to do this. So I'm going to set it up and show you how to do it first. So you're going to want to have a block the lengthways, and depending on you could have it on the mid size, the low size. I really would not put it on the high side, but for me, the mid size works good. So, sitting a few inches in front of your block, hands on the mat, a little bit behind your hips, your fingers pointing forward. On your exhale, you're just going to fold over that block. So for me, I'm realizing right now that the block is too high towards the edge of my mat. So I'm going to lower it. You want the block to be just below the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. So just like this. And if this feels ridiculous and there's no way you can do it on earth, don't worry, I've got a variation. We use a rolled up blanket. So you just roll it up, make a nice soft mound here for you. And then again, just rolling back, bringing, in this variation, your shoulder blades to the mat. This feels really comfortable. So stay here if you like this variation. I'm going to continue with this version. with the block underneath the shoulder blades. So for here, you want to take another block to put it under the back of your head. And then release your arms by your sides. So you choose whichever version best supports you today. Just remember, you're keeping that block or the blanket, whichever you're using, below the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. So your shoulder blades should not be on the block at all. And just sink into it. Just allowing gravity to do the work here, opening the heart, stretching the muscles across the chest. Nice long breaths. Just sinking into the pose. Also, if you feel like there's any pressure on your kneecaps, you can always roll up a towel or a blanket, put them behind your knees so to give you a little bit more support there. Or you can bend your knees, placing the soles of the feet flat on the mat if you need to take any pressure off the back. So even though this is a really deep stretch, we want to make sure that we're comfortable at all times. Let's take one more nice big inhale here. Open the mouth inside out. Very nice. So in order to exit from this pose, I recommend bringing your knees in, soles of the feet flat on the floor, and then on your exhale, just rolling over to one side, rolling off of your block, if you're using the block, and then resting the head on the bicep, or I'm resting my head on the smaller block that I was using in my head. Take a couple of moments. And then on your next inhale, press yourself up. We're going to come into Shavasana now, and I recommend a nice, comfortable Shavasana. I'm going to add a blanket and a bolster. So I have my blanket here. I'm just going to fold it into quarters and place it at the top edge of my mat. I'm going to put a bolster under my knees. And then just come to rest, adjusting the blanket. Getting comfortable. And then just release your arms out beside you, palms face up. Just take a few long, slow, deep breaths. Just letting go of any tension you might be holding on to. Anything that might be stressful in the body or the mind, just release it for these next few minutes. Allowing your muscles to soften, letting your legs be heavy, your shoulder blades just melting into the mat beneath you. And take a big inhale through the nose. Open the mouth and sigh it out. And start to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, bringing your awareness back to the space. And then on your next inhale, send your arms straight out in front of you and circle your wrists, circle your ankles, going in one direction and then the other. And then on your next inhale, send your arms all the way overhead, reaching from fingertips to tiptoes. And then on your exhale, bring your knees in towards your chest. If it feels good, you can give your knees a hug, rock from side to side. And then on your next exhale, just roll over to one side, resting your head on your blanket or your bicep. Just taking a moment. And then on your next inhale, rising up, coming to a comfortable seat. And when you've come to your comfortable seat, just sitting tall, resting hands on thighs, softening your gaze or closing your eyes, bringing your awareness back to your breath. Let's bring the hands together at heart center. Press your thumbs into your ribs. Spread your fingers wide like you're sending your heart energy out to the world. Take a big inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, bow your head to your heart with gratitude. Thank you for joining me today, yogis. I hope you found that class very soothing and stress relieving. I hope to see you again and practice with you soon.